Gaurav, thank you so much for being with us here today and welcome to Your Story Media as the Brand Masters.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, Gaurav, without wasting any time, I'm going to say this. Audi has always been very minimal and yet impactful in its approach towards storytelling. And I can't help but keep think about the Keyrings commercial from years ago. Simple, elegant, striking, right? Praising the strengths of your competitors, eventually leading the viewers to speak about the brand Audi. Simply brilliant, I would say. But storytelling and advertising has evolved significantly over the years. So, how do you see the evolution of storytelling in marketing and advertising? And how does Audi India continue to leverage the power of storytelling to connect with its audience in a more meaningful way?
So you touched upon a very important topic right at the beginning, which is storytelling. We in marketing as well as advertising completely believe that it's no longer about just product. It's about the story you are trying to say as a brand, the philosophy you are bringing as a brand, the place where you're coming from, the place where you're going to. And therefore, if in our campaigns, we focus not just on a product, but about actually storytelling. And funnily enough, we are one of the bigger campaigns which we did recently was called Story of Progress.
Yes.
And that is something where we actually had protagonists, storytellers, as we call them, talking about their life journeys. And that is where the brand connect was happening. So, in a nutshell, storytelling is very, very important to us as a brand because ultimately, Audi being a progressive brand, we are not just in the market about selling a products. We are positioning a particular philosophy which we believe in, and we are attracting like minded people, be it customers or be it our fans on social media platforms. They associate with us because they know Audi stands for certain values and beliefs. And therefore, storytelling becomes much, much more important. Otherwise, we are a very niche brand selling to a few thousands of people, but our footprint is much, much wider because of these aspirations.
Absolutely. But Gaurav, I'm glad that you mentioned Stories of Progress campaign because I think Audi India has taken a very interesting approach by referring to its customers as friends of Audi rather than, going towards traditional brand ambassadors. And if I'm not wrong, the only brand ambassador that you actually have is Virat Kohli. But it's a unique strategy and one that signifies a very strong relationship between the brand and its customers. So, could you elaborate on the thinking behind this approach? How does Audi India leverage the influence and advocacy of these friends of Audi to strengthen the brand's presence and engage with a wider audience?
So, very interesting point you touched upon, which is about Friends of Audi. Today, the brand ambassador space, if you see, is cluttered, and also the exposure of these ambassadors to various brands is also extremely cluttered and spaced out. So, if you ask a individual which brands is associated with, is directly proportionate to the media money which is being spent and media exposure advertising. We are not an advertising heavy brand, so therefore, for us, it's limiting factor of engaging with brand ambassadors. What we realized was our product category like ours, the biggest advocates which we have, or as we call it, the friends which we have, is the customers who use our products. They are the ones who, if they talk about their experience of owning our products, their experience of interacting at our workshops, their experience of using our concierge services, they are the ones which they talk about it, the authenticity is much much higher, acceptability is much much higher. So
Right.
therefore the friends of Audi comes from that thought process. Also, even with influencers and brand ambassadors which we engage with from time to time, we have a basic rule that to large extent we want to work with people who already have experienced our products or own our products. We want to be authentic brand and not a transactional brand which is paying people to say something. You
Right.
know, we want people to have their own independent ownership experiences. So therefore, when they're even giving a marketing message, there is a layer of authenticity attached to that. There is a make belief around that, and it's not just seen as a transaction of communication which is happening on the universe. So these are largely the thoughts which inspire us on the Friends of Audi, and I'm glad you noticed it.
Right. And what better way to actually trust a brand than listening to the consumers who are actually using that brand, right? I think that adds so much credibility to it rather than just advertising the product, like you said.
Absolutely, because it's been said, and I remember many years back, I read it in management books. The true challenge for a brand is to turn from customers to fans. You
Absolutely.
know, and if you turn from customers to fans, you ensure that you are not relying on market ups and downs. You're not looking at product cycles. You are, in fact, even if you have certain problems at certain times, discontentment around the certain features, etc., the customer is engaging with you to solve it together rather than complaining about it. So that's, so we firmly believe in that. And we just don't believe it as a communication, we
Mm.
also believe it in action. So we have an active platform called Audi Club Rewards,
Yes.
which is a very, very unique program in space of automotive,
Mm.
where our customers get rewarded for their every possible interaction with us, be it buying cars, be it servicing cars, be it spending on insurance, be it buying additional service packages, where they get points. And these points are pretty much like how you have it for your credit card or bank
Mm.
loyalty points, where you can use for many things
Mm.
like hotel bookings, holiday, for going and watching Formula One, going and watching Wimbledon, air tickets. So these are very transactional points which you get benefits. You use it for in cashing it at Audi shop. You can buy Audi T-shirt, caps, and most importantly, we now have expanded it this year to experiential formats where
Mm.
we take our customers, on existing customers, mind you, on drives across this country through various platforms, sometimes on track, sometimes scenic drives, sometimes certain milestone related drives, where the customer feels more engaged with the brand. So the Friends of Audi concept is not just a campaign which we run on social media, but we truly believe in this philosophy, and we make sure that we engage with our customer 24/7.
Right, wonderful. But you know, while you were talking about experiential the experiences, I was thinking about, I read in one interview where you mentioned that Audi has been in AR/VR much before even the pandemic hit, but pandemic just accelerated that progress, right? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, absolutely. So one of the key DNAs of Audi is technology first, and we are always on the anvil of looking at what next to use and how to use technology not just as a disruptor, but also in using technology in delivering better to a customer. And at that point of time, AR and VR were seen as a better tools. Being a luxury car manufacturer, we have offer 14 to 15 different kinds of body styles and models in India. A particular dealer will not stock all the variants, all the models at the dealership. How does a customer get to experience this, understand this? So therefore, the AR came into that in terms of
Mm.
seeing how, sorry, the VR came into that. And the AR was that a customer would like to imagine how does the car looks in his driveway? How
Mm.
does the car looks in his real world environment?
Right.
And that is where our sales consultant would go and meet our customers at their office premises, at their residences, show them the car, and give them a real side. Because sometimes you don't want to, even if on e-commerce platforms, when we do our normal regular shopping, be it of some accessory, one is always struggling what is going to be the exact size of it. If you're buying a painting, you don't know how big it is or how small it is, or you're buying a glassware or any kind of things. So you want to really understand what is the size of this exactly. AR solved that problem. Customer can understand what is exactly the size of this vehicle. How does it look? If you
Right.
know, on my driveway, what is the height of it? What is the width of it? You know, how does it look if I'm sitting inside the car? What am I experiencing? So it was a technology helped us in breach this gap. Fortunately, obviously, we were a little ahead of the curve. So therefore, when the disruption of pandemic happened and we all were locked away at our home, and for the first few months, once business was shut, and then we had to restart the business, and the dealerships were reopening. One of the key questions which many brands struggled with, that how to bring customers back to the showroom or how to sell a product. But we were fortunately ready with this solution, and we could immediately restart our business. So it enabled us. Now we have translated it further. We have taken it ahead. We have a app which is obviously a very common thing as an app, but it's an all-encompassing app
Hmm.
Today, in the world where we are trying to sell electric vehicles, one of the key concerns which we find from a customer is in terms of live availability of chargers, state of charge, whether it's working or not working, how to pay for those charges, because each charge point operators normally have their own app where you need to have a separate wallet to pay for charging, which is extremely inconvenient for a customer. So again, in our digital first approach, we used our platform where we brought all these charge point operators on our platform, and now our customers can use one single wallet, which is Audi wallet, to pay all these chargers.
Hmm.
So besides AR and VR, these are the progress which we are making, because every day as a brand, we are thinking technology first and how to use technology to further ease the life of our customers.
Right. Wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Gaurav. But one thing I've always been very curious about is the decision-making process behind marketing campaigns, right? So especially with the significant shift that the luxury car market has witnessed over the years, with the key demographic expanding to include a much younger audience and which is driven by purchasing power rather than just aspirations. How does Audi India strike a balance when developing marketing campaigns, appealing to both the existing customers and also attracting new customers who may not have considered buying a luxury car before?
You have asked a question which is a daily problem which we struggle with, and you're absolutely right that the key word is the balance, to arrive at a balance, because obviously there is a large existing customer base which we have to cater to, and absolutely right again, where there is a new increasing younger customer profile which is coming onto the field, and both profiles largely have different media habits. When is
Absolutely.
the today's average, I would not even call them youngsters, but today most of professionals, when you wake up, the first thing you catch hold of is your mobile phone.
Hmm.
And so if I'm only a traditional media advertiser and I'm not a digital advertiser, or even in digital innovative digital advertiser, who's using mobile first as an approach, I'm a blind spot for my customer. I'm not going to be there. So therefore, those are some of the techniques which we have to keep in mind looking at it. But at the same time, we have traditional business travelers who are traveling business class, who are using lounges, who are probably going for bespoke experiences.
Hmm.
We also have traditional customers who are in tier two, tier three cities,
Right.
who are again probably not mobile first customers, who are
Hmm.
probably not traveling also. So how to reach to them? So that's where out of home strategy come into play. Again, then you're looking at the reach of print media, how to look at strategic assets within the print media, specialized assets within the print media, how to use them. Then how do you use platforms like YouTube, how to use platforms which are present in a different content format. So therefore, there is multifaceted approach for one campaign one has to take. One campaign cannot be known just about one hoarding or one newspaper ad or one TVC. It
Absolutely.
has multiple slices and dices of layers which we are using to reach out to this diverse set of customers which we have.
Right. Gaurav, very interestingly, you mentioned about the changing media landscape, right? Because speaking of media consumption patterns and changing consumer behavior as well, the allocation of advertising and marketing spends between traditional mediums like television and print and the digital realm has become increasingly crucial. So, with these shifts, how do you navigate this evolving media landscape to create a more cohesive and impactful marketing campaigns? You briefly touched upon it, but if you could just give us an example of it.
So the easy answer is that everybody would say we have moved digital, but that's not true. Like I just said, traditional media equally plays important role for our customer base. So while it might be digital led or digital first, but it has a strong layer of ATL as well. And for us as a brand, all mediums of communication becomes equally important, as especially as media vehicle. With our media partners, our constant endeavor is, especially on the digital space, looking for innovation,
Right.
looking for clutter breaking things. Because, like I said, as a brand, we are known for our digital first approach, we are known for innovation. So, therefore, even on media deployment, we are looking for things which we have done first in the market, especially in our category, if not in the industry. So we are always looking for those solutions. Same philosophy we take to offline media as well, be
Hmm.
it print advertising or be it outdoor. Where can we go, in terms of always on approach? Where can it be performance marketing approach in out of home? Where can we performance marketing approach in traditional media? How to look at those kind of solutions? How to look for innovative spaces? How to create innovation within print media?
Hmm.
So it's an interesting battle for us. So a few days back, I was talking to a colleague of mine, and they said that luxury products are not advertised on radio. And I shared in that discussion with that particular person that radio is not only about FM radio. Radio is also digital. All the streaming apps which we have now, you have Spotify's and Amazon Music's of the world, and
Very
you're
interesting
building.
point.
So
Hmm.
it's also something which is beginning to play an important role.
Hmm.
We did ASMR led campaigns on Spotify, created that affinity groups. So those are all very interesting media strategies which we have used over last couple of years to take our message forward, to ensure the customer is not only noticing us but also coming and inquiring about our products.
Right. Very interesting point about radio, Gaurav. But talking about Audi India's brand identity, it has been very successful in creating a strong brand identity and positioning. What strategies would you say have you employed to differentiate Audi from its competitors and ensure that the brand remains top of mind for luxury car buyers in India?
So again, not a very straight, simple answer. Uh, we like to believe we have a very, very young customer base. If you compare to who's the traditional luxury car buyer in India,
Hmm.
Audi started really late in India, but we accelerated fast because on the back of exciting product offerings, as well as arriving at a perfect balance of driving on the weekends and being driven on the weekdays. So our cars offer best of rear seat comfort as well as driving dynamics. So that's a unique product positioning which we had. Then we use that product positioning for marketing. We obviously, like I shared with you earlier, use digital first approach to create a digital first brand affinity groups. Another important differentiator for us was we were one of the first movers in experiential in platforms like driving on the racetracks, driving off-road, creating off-road tracks, something what we call quattro drives, where you show the limit of our Q range of products.
Hmm.
Uh, we were the first one to use our friends and partners in media to work together with them to attempt records, breaking records in terms of fastest lap time on BIC or fastest on-road timing, all those kind of things which we did, which created those pillars and used that effectively for communicating with our audience.
Right. Right. Gaurav, this is competition in the sector, but I've very often wondered about the dynamic within the Volkswagen group, where Audi also competes with some of its iconic sister brands. How has Audi managed to carve its own unique brand identity in this competitive landscape?
So being part of Volkswagen Group is a huge privilege for us. You rightly said we have some very, very exciting brands, and all of them have their own individual identity and products. And truth be told, we draw from each other's strength. So we
Hmm.
don't see it as a competition. We see it as drawing from each other's strength, and we have different customer sets, and that is what is so unique about being part of the Volkswagen Group.
Right. Okay. Very simple answer, but I'll let it go. All right. Moving on to the one sector that's booming, which is the EV sector. Audi India continues to make great strides in this market, and it's clear that sustainability plays a crucial role. Now, in terms of marketing, how do you perceive the current state of EV infrastructure in India, and what are the challenges and opportunities that you see from a marketing perspective?
So EV is a space which is being talked a lot about in the media and even customers. We are seeing this segment growing not only in luxury but even in mass, and
Yes.
there are many factors which are driving it. One
Hmm.
of the key challenges which we are facing on marketing aspects of it is it's no longer only just about creating imagery around EV products. but it is more important than building confidence around EV products. A lot
Right.
of customers today out there have challenges about where do I charge my car? What happens? I remember I stay in Mumbai. A lot of people ask me what happens to electric cars when it is raining. So there is a lot of misinformation,
Yeah.
conception about these products. So a lot of our marketing effort is around EV space is also spent on educating customers,
Absolutely.
dispelling myths,
Mm.
giving them confidence. One of the key initiatives recently, what we took, which I talked to you earlier also about, was Charge My Audi, about using one platform to knowing where the chargers are. Are they currently available? Not available. One of the key pet peeves of EV owners is that outside their own owned charging space, be it at their residence or their office location, if they're using third-party apps to look at charger location, sometimes when they go there, they find either the charger is not working or the charger is already occupied with somebody else, and then they are not able to use it. So we solved that problem by Charge My Audi, where now close to 6,000 chargers in India are connected on our platform with real-time status. So real time, you can open it on the app and see whether this charger is working, not working, and so which
Mm.
is a huge advantage which our customers now are getting. So we worked on this primarily from a problem solving point of view because we realize that's a problem which our customers are facing.
Right.
Uh, Again, I already mentioned to you about using a common Audi wallet to pay for charging. Obviously, for our customers, it's free currently across all charge point operators. But whenever later on it will not be free, they can just use one wallet instead of downloading six different. So the communication, coming back to the marketing point of view, is largely on two folds. One is confidence building and myth dispensing, and
Mm.
the second and most important one is on building aspiration around fundamentals of EV, which is not only environment friendly, which a lot
Mm.
of people think is the limitation of EV communication. No, EV is also gives you advantage of creating much more design oriented products,
Right.
much more futuristic looking products, much more technology oriented products, much better in cabin experience for the customers. So we
Mm.
use that also very strongly in our communication.
Right, absolutely. Because when I think about the EV sector, this is what I think about that, is it just limited to being environment friendly or is there more to it? And I think it's very relevant that all of us get educated about it because it's still a very nascent sector and we still do not understand a lot about it. So thank you for sharing that.
No
Uh,
problem.
Gaurav, earlier we spoke a little about the digital medium, but it's a fast-paced digital world. Social media has emerged as a powerful tool for brand promotion and audience engagement. And while Audi India has yet not gone to traditional social media influencers per se, how is it harnessing the potential of social media platforms to effectively connect with its audience and build a strong online presence?
Very important medium for us, social media, especially in a market like India, where the presence of social media is obviously of enormous scale. Interactions happening on social media across brand categories, across conversations. And going back to your very first question, the stories are happening. The
Hmm.
storytellers are all online. Storytellers are all conversing on these various social media platforms. So we have a very, very strong presence on all these platforms. We recognize that some of these platforms, the scalability is not only about customer being there, but there is a fan audience. And we totally use that because we also want to celebrate people who have aspirations around brand Audi. So we from regular and time to time have contests, fan engagement, quizzes, etc. We also use the social media effectively to reach our target audience, to invite them for our on ground programs, for our experiential events. We use social media potential to talk about the reach of our on ground initiatives, programs, and we work with these platforms directly to sharpen our positioning on these platforms. We, if I remember my numbers correctly, we have over 5 odd million followers across various social media platforms collectively. And that's a huge responsibility on our shoulders because these are the people who today are willingly connecting and following our brand page. So therefore, we need to deliver content which is interesting and which is something which they want to engage with. it's not just the power of the brand and the arrogance which I can say, oh, I have 5 million followers. No, it's a responsibility bestowed upon me by those people that they are something looking forward from brand Audi. And therefore, I need to make sure that day in, day out, I deliver content to them which they want to see. So therefore, we approach it not only as a medium of
Hmm.
communication for brand, we also use it strongly as connecting with our community. And therefore, we have a very, very active and dedicated team which is completely devoted towards social media and all the engagements as and content which we do around it.
Right. You mentioned that you also have a lot of fan quizzes to engage with your audiences. Could you share some specific strategies or campaigns that have successfully engaged Audi's followers and created a vibrant online community?
So I'll take you back in time. I hope I'm getting the timelines right. Around 4 to 5 years back, we launched a particular product called Q2 in India,
Hmm.
and we came with a very interesting online game on which was on Instagram, where you download or rather when you follow our India page, you can just download that filter, and the filter makes you sit on the seat of the Q2, and you are basically just shaking your head to navigate your way through a busy city route. And
Wow.
it was such a engaging, yet such a simple game. The level of engagements we found on that was amazing, and we thought it would be mainly youngsters which would be doing that. And later we found out that a lot of people cutting across age groups were playing this, and that's when you realize that the power of technology and the reach of social media
Yeah.
can transit you into a particular world where we are not a gaming platform, we are not a brand which is meant for everyone, but the kind of engagement which we had was stunning at that time. And also going back to the fan contests,
Yes.
quizzes, what we have from time to time, and we just see the engagement going on a daily basis much higher. We in fact do it very not regularly, I would say,
Mhm.
and we keep constant requests from communities, or there should be a weekly quiz, there should be a daily quiz, or and that's not a prerogative, or that's not something which we want to do, but the pressure is just too much from the fan community that they want to drive engagement with us, and that builds confidence into us that we are probably doing something right on the social platforms.
Very, very interesting. Gaurav, Audi as a global brand is making an exciting entry into Formula One in 2026. The pinnacle of motorsport, F1 has been gaining immense popularity and attracting a growing fan base here in India too, particularly among younger audiences. In what ways do you anticipate this association with Formula One will be benefiting Audi India's brand visibility, engagement with fans, and overall marketing strategy in the Indian market?
So, as every motorsport fan, even I'm very excited and waiting for Audi's entry into Formula One.
Hmm.
It's perhaps still a little too early to talk about it,
Hmm.
but yes, it is a step which is a very important marketing tool for any market. And India, like you rightly said, has a large One following. So no doubt in future it will play a very important role in our marketing strategy, be it communications, be it experiential, or even strategic communication, because Formula One is a field where you demonstrate technologies which you bring to road later on. So it will have a very, very important role to play. But like I said, it's still a couple of years away. So we'll have to wait for it.
Right. We look forward to seeing what Audi India does with this association. Uh, earlier you mentioned, Gaurav, that Audi believes in innovation, and that's not just innovation in products, but it has consistently impressed us with its innovative and visually stunning advertisements. And now I'm very curious to know about the behind the scenes process of creating one of Audi India's most memorable campaigns. Could you tell us a little bit about that, the challenges that you faced during that campaign?
So I would start on a lighter note. How much time we have? but on a serious note, I get it.
We'll have a couple of minutes, yes.
No, no. So I'll quickly share with you again going back to Story of Progress. It was one of the most successful campaigns in the recent time. The challenges on such campaigns is how to be authentic yet be scalable.
Hmm.
So this is something where the Story of Progress was actually genuine people, authentic people talking about their journey of progress and how it's relatable for us as a brand. They were not standing there and talking about how great the Audi brand is or how lovely this product is. They were talking about their stories and how we as Audi are connecting with those stories, which is what we are talking about. So the challenge then becomes in looking for authentic people and not just people who are in today's world, social media, scalable. So we had to do a lot of deep research and get very interesting people. A couple of people which we worked with was Pratik Sadhu, who is a very celebrated chef, but known for his sustainable way of cooking, looking for local produce, etc. Another person which we worked and we found out very, very interesting was Nayantara Jain, who's a marine biologist, and somebody who's not perhaps too popularly known, but has a really strong body of work which stands for something. Then we worked with Dia Mirza, who a lot of people think of as a Bollywood actress, but she again has a strong line of work in the field of sustainability and environment protection. And she works with obviously UNICEF. And then obviously the ultimate performer, the performance, epitome Virat Kohli, and while he's also a huge star, but he's also the ultimate epitome of performance and looking that and his progress coming from Delhi and being this mega international cricketer, you know. So these were the authentic stories to identify them, curate them, work with them, and that was a huge challenge for us. And but I would say that the beauty of it was the success of it.
Absolutely, yes. But you have spoken very passionately about stories of progress, but I'm still going to ask you this. Which campaign holds a special place in your heart?
The answer is obvious. You can.
I thought I'll still take a chance and make you talk about something else.
Yeah. So see, we obviously there is a grill. In a given year, we do 5, 6, 7, 8 campaigns. The next one, which is coming up, is for us is Q8 e-tron. It's also something which is very close to my heart. It is something which, like I said, talking about not only product but talking about our philosophy of how we believe the progress which you can feel in your daily life. You know, it's not just about good enough to say that we need to progress. It's about how it's impacting our lives. And we are working currently on this campaign. So all I will request you and your viewers to watch out for that campaign, which is breaking very soon.
We certainly will be, Gaurav, the passion with which you have spoken about it. On that note, Gaurav, thank you so much for joining us here today and sharing your valuable insights with us. It has been an absolute pleasure having this conversation with you. I have had a lot of fun learning more about Audi India's marketing strategies and the thinking that goes behind that. So thank you once again for it.
Thank you for having me. It was very, very interesting to share the point of view, and I really look forward to interacting in future as well. Thank you once again.
Same here, Gaurav. Thank you. Bye-bye.